I don't know, sometimes I just like I think back about some of the people that I've met in my life that you know, drug dealing and buying drugs and all that shit, it's a fucking sketchy business. But there were some people that I met that had, you know, integrity along the way. Here come the fireworks for Christmas time. I think it's a Hispanic thing. So anyways, Sacramento, 2007, I moved out there. I'm not going to bore you with the specifics. I was sleeping in my truck for 30 days. I went to this Filipino church. I don't remember the street. I want to say it was off 6. It was kind of near Uriah Faber's Team Alpha Male gym downtown. It was near like the theater and stuff on K Street and all that stuff in downtown Sacramento near the auditorium. Don't go too far. Hey. Where are you going, to the road? But I met this prostitute. Her name was Penny. And I met her at church, strangely enough. And it's like you kind of just know as a drug addict who can get you drugs. You know, it's not hard to think that prostitutes will find you drugs. Do you know what I mean? And she used to sell me the yellow Norco 7.5s for a really good deal. But I used to have to take her to her, well, she wouldn't tell me at first, her meth dealer. And, you know, I'd take her up and bring her back home. Her husband was a dude. He had one leg. And, you know, he was just a cool dude. I mean, he was an older guy and he knew her game and all that shit. And he wasn't really, you know, whatever. But she just was a really cool person, you know. She was older. She had been doing this for fucking years and years and years. And, you know, she got some meth. I chipped in with her. And she went into her bedroom. I went with her. She pulled out this little, She pulled out this little secret compartment under her, like, I don't know where she had under her mattress. She had cut a hole, like literally, and stuffed like syringes and shit up there. And she started preparing, you know, to shoot up. And I was like, oh, I want to try that. And never forget the look on her face. Like, she took her glasses off and just stopped and looked at me, and she said, I will never be the one to show you how to do something like this, because when you go to the needle, it's a life-changing thing. She's like, and I'm not going to be the one to... Hercules. He just starts like fucking wandering around. Like, we're gonna just, where are we going? We're here. We're filming a video. Relax. Okay? I gave you your ball. So I just remembered that. And man, there was this other prostitute I knew in Oakland. I forget where I don't even remember where I met this person, off of San Pablo, out Berkeley towards, let me see, what was that street called? I forget. Such a blur because I was so fucked up on drugs. I worked in, was it a town called Alameda? Yeah, it was Alameda. San Francisco was over there. But her landlord took her fucking doors, right? Her landlord took her door off and she chained her door back on. He completely like obliterated the front of her house. Like, it looked like a fucking thing got hit with a cruise missile because she hadn't paid the rent, right? And she had this, hold on a second. She had like 5 pit bulls right in her front entryway, like her little Florida room. There was no door to that, and she had 5 pit bulls. And I remember she ripped me off. This is how second time I was in fucking Lake Tahoe. She kept calling me. Look at this dude's bike right here. This is fucking funny as fuck. She kept calling me, and she wanted to sell me pills and stuff. And I said, man, I'm in Lake Tahoe. I'm fucking, whatever. I'm like 3 hours away. I'm not coming home in 15 minutes. And I could tell. I was like, yeah, she's probably dope sick. She's probably going to fucking try to rip me off or something. You know what I mean? Like, I could just kind of tell she was looking for money. You know what I mean? Because no one, if you got pills, you're not calling a whole bunch of people to sell them. And it's not like we're best friends or something, or you owe me something or whatever. It's just like they just go quick. You know what I mean? So, it was like, I called her back, I got into town, and it was dark out. And, we met. She got in the car, and I had this thing where I always used to just chew my pills because sometimes as a kid I couldn't swallow stuff that good. My brother couldn't swallow pills at all until he was like fucking 25. But I always used to chew them, and then I realized they hit you quicker. So I would, didn't really think much of it. She'd only charging me like $30. It wasn't like a big fucking to-do. And I've never really gotten burned, but my spider senses were up. But, she handed me, the bottle, and, she, her body language was, wasn't really that off or anything where I was like, this bitch is robbing me, or I should count these fucking things or look. But, I looked at him, and, I opened the bottle, and I looked, and, and she got out and drove away, and I opened the bottle, and I tossed a couple in my mouth, and I started chewing, and I said, man, these don't taste like fucking hydrocodone or Percocets or anything from the opium family. And I poured them out, and she had given me like 10 Seroquel and like 7 fucking Vicodin or something, so she took me for like $40 or something. And the Seroquel, if you've never taken it, that shit will knock your dick in the dirt. Like, Seroquel's good if you're like using uppers and you don't want to be up for a bunch of days, because that shit puts you to bed. If you got a problem sleeping, you take a Seroquel, it's over. You know what I mean? So I could have been driving home, and fucking, I spit the shit out. But I remember calling her and telling her, like, listen, I would, she's the type of person where, I wouldn't let her borrow $40, but I'd let her borrow, I could afford to lose 25. And I just told her, like, you might have robbed me, for $40, but I'm a customer, and long term, you've lost out on fucking hundreds of dollars a month. So this is what I'm going to offer you. You don't have to give me a fucking refund of 100% or anything, because it's my bad, and that's just the game we're in. But I want you to fucking, I would say 40% right the wrong that you did, and it don't have to be tomorrow or this week, but in the next 2 times I buy from you, I want you to throw me what you feel is right. And I understand, you're obviously using and da-da-da-da-da, but I would have rather you just said, hey man, and I understand why you did it and all that shit. And, she ended up making it right with me. And, I remember, like, I walked around the side of her house one time looking for her, and there was like this little like shed kind of built onto the house, right? And this guy came out of the fucking shed like it was like a little like hobbit hole or something. And he was living in there, and he had a bed, and he was like, yo man, you want to buy some methadone? I was like, fuck yeah, I do. He was like, they're $2 a piece. I was like, fuck. I said, I'll give you 3 here, and I just remember one time she let me in her house, and she told me I had to piss or something, and she had like a yard where it was like you couldn't really, go to the bathroom, and there was like high apartments and people out on the. She's like, I'm just letting you know my toilet's broken, my landlord shut the water off. Well, I went in there to take a piss, and there was a mountain of shit that went up above the toilet bowl itself, right? And I was like, gonna throw up thinking about it, and I was just like, oh, you know, and I don't know, man. There's so many crazy stories from fucking California. I forget her name. She's probably no longer with us. There's just so many people that you run into. I remember a guy sold me speed, and I had been buying pills off of him in California probably for about 6 months, and he said, hey, I got some really good speed or whatever, and I would do it every once in a blue moon, like maybe once every 4 months I would do a little, $20 worth here and $20 worth there and whatever. So he gave me, like, I said, well, let me try it out. So I went in the bathroom. We were at this park in Sacramento, and I did a bump, and that shit fucking went up my nose instantly. My eye just turned red as fuck and started dripping, and I don't know what the fuck, but it felt like it was meth, you know what I mean? But it was really strong, and a couple minutes went by, and I was like, man, I'm not high from this shit. Well, he lived in like a halfway house down the street, right? So I don't know, he took me for like $25 or something. So I texted him. I said, hey, man, that shit ain't fucking real. I don't know what the fuck that shit is, but you could have killed me giving me that shit. I'm going to beat your fucking brains in. If you don't come outside your house, you got 2 minutes to be out at the fucking curb with my money, or I'm coming in that motherfucking house, and I don't care how I leave, okay? And I just fucking pulled up, counted, walked, opened the door, walked right in the house, and I said, hey, where's so-and-so at? And the guy that was with him was like, uh-oh. And I said, yeah, fucking uh-oh is right. And he was like, he came out and was like, hey, man, here's your money, man. Because he didn't want to get kicked the fuck out of there for selling fucking, because he couldn't believe that somebody just walked in the fucking house in that neighborhood and said what the fuck I was ready to say. And I just looked at him. I said, bro, don't ever fuck with me again. If you see me coming, you turn around, don't talk to me. It's like this girl who sold me fentanyl. She was walking down the street, and, she sold me fentanyl. The shit killed me, right? This was like 2 years ago. I fell out, and she left me for dead, right? And she tried to say she got me Narcan, and I owe her $10. I said, bitch, there was no Narcan in the fucking garbage can or anything like that. You're just a fucking junkie. And I've told her before. Well, she told the nerd a whole bunch of bullshit when the nerd was over at her fucking lover's house next door. And just a bunch of like fucking crazy nonsense. And she seen me walking like a day or two ago, and it was like 6 in the morning. I was walking with my headphones on, and she's out with her fucking little crackhead fucking little walk that she does. She's just a fucking street urchin, and she walks by me, and she's like, I think it's so cool that I go, bitch, shut the fuck up. Don't ever talk to me. I don't want to talk to you. I don't like you. I don't know why you fucking insist on trying to make conversation with me. We're not friends. Shut the fuck up and walk away. Don't ever talk to me in your entire life. I don't care if I'm on fire. I don't want you to go get water. Let me burn. I don't want nothing to do with you. And she was just like, because this was her way of like talking to me, because she's such a fucking manipulator. Like someone else I know, she thought she was going to talk to me and like go, hey, by the way, do you got a cigarette, or do you have 60 cents on you? I want to get a soda at the fucking Freezy Mart down the street or something. There's always something. You know what I mean? It's not, hey, how are you doing? How's your mom? It's always something, but, some of the people I've met have had, like, I've had some fucking dealers that were, classy individuals, and I've had some that were pieces of shit. Most of them were decent, most of them were just decent people. They were just trying to pay their bills and shit. But, we've got some still floating around here that are, and some in my life. I've got some in Buffalo I could talk about. I don't know. It's Christmas Eve, and, it's time to be, I don't know, just thinking about shit, man, because I've been all over America, and, I remember one time we were at Pizza Hut in Gilbert, Arizona or West something, Arizona, near the Grand Canyon. It was like 7 o'clock at night. And I said to the girl, the waitress was like 14 or 15. And I said, hey, what's the weed scene like around here, you know? She was like, oh, I don't know where to get weed. And I said, okay. I said, I'm just asking. I'm not like trying to buy like fucking pounds or anything. I'm just curious because it kind of looked a little collegey, you know, and there looked like there were some head shops and shit. And I was just kind of whatever, just, you know, not that we were going to go fucking buy weed and get arrested or anything. But she was like, well, I can get you meth. I was like, what? And that's when I realized how different my upbringing had been from being from Buffalo, because we didn't do shit like that in Buffalo in the fucking 90s. You know what I mean? It's still not a popular drug up there. You know, when I moved to Las Vegas when I was 20, I might as well been like fucking Woody Harrelson in Kingpin. You know, like I was like fucking, I might as well have been Amish. I remember the first time my bandmates, we were out at a bar. I walked in the bathroom and they were both torching a fucking pipe, and they're like, handed it to me. I said, man, don't hand me that shit. I don't know what the fuck you're doing. They're like, it's meth, man. And I go, meth? I go, you guys are a bunch of fucking meth heads? And they were like, yeah, everybody is. We play fast music. And I go, I was just like, man, fucking, where I was from, it was like weed, shrooms, beer. No one was doing that shit. I don't know. I'm glad I don't have kids because, man, the times have fucking changed.